We right now are in the middle of a revolution that I don't think people are really grasping, but we do, and you do, and you get it. But in the event somebody's brand new, in the event somebody says, okay, let me explain this to you. Let me see if I can start off. This isn't about Trump. Trump is here, true, but he is not the cause of this. He is a part of this. Let me say this again. Trump is not the cause of anything. Trump is not, it's not a new world, a new way of looking at things, a new Republican Party, a new conservatism. No. He is just part of this wave. It's coming here anyway. It's coming here anyway. You know, if you, and I've always used this as an example, did the Beatles change anything, or were they there first in a wave? For example, the fires. Imagine being the first fire, the very first fire, the first house, the first neighborhood. It didn't cause the destruction. It merely was a harbinger. It predicted what was happening. That's where we are right now. So Trump is a wonderful thing. He's terrific, but he is a part of a movement. There is so much going on right now, and it is critical upon you to learn so much for yourself. I am trying to keep to a minimum all the times I have said, beware of something is important, something is critical. And I said before, the hardest thing for me to explain to people, the hardest thing of them all, believe it or not, is AI. Nobody really gets it. They still don't get it. They don't understand it. They think it's I don't know, a robot or something. I'm not really sure. We have not yet been able to really explain to people what this is. And what is important and incredibly critical for you and everybody else to understand is that you have to understand what this means. You have to grasp this. Nobody's going to tell you what it is. And right now we're seeing something which is the most important. CNN and NBC. This is, and again, it's not, oh, we hate CNN so much, and that's kind of fun because we're all basically trolls. We are all of us a bunch of miserable pricks who love to just stick our nose. We have enemies and we don't like people, and we think that go like that. It's true. It's who we are. We are brutal in our assessment. Brutal. And we hate people. And it's fun to hate. Don't let anybody ever tell you it's fun to hate the Red Sox or to hate the Mets or the Yankees or to hate Nancy Pelosi. Don't give me this business about, well, we shouldn't hate. It's fun. Because you can't love something so much and be an ardent supporter of a particular ideology and yet be accepting of a counter ideology that seeks to destroy you and everything you stand for. So do not ever find yourself in the position of trying to justify or explain away how you feel. CNN started off in the 80s as one of the most important and critical, I guess you'd call it programming likes we've never seen. They were so good. It was so wonderful to see. It was fascinating. Do you remember this? Do you remember how great that was to watch CNN? Whenever there was anything, if there was a plane wreck, oh my God, we were there. If there was any kind of a plane wreck, we were there. They even started at 5 after. Remember, they went 5 after the hour? Remember Bernard Shaw and just the way they looked. 24 hours. It was so revolutionary. They asked Ted Turner, why are you going to go 24 hours? He said, it takes more to turn the show off. There's always somebody watching. because we were from a generation where we watched this guy. It was the test pattern. It was the Indian. It was this guy used to watch Seed for the Sower. Don't ask me why. I would see like at the end. This concludes our broadcast day. Da, 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 da. That, and it'd be either that or this test pattern or something. And Ted Turner came along and said, "No, we're not going to do that. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. You don't even recognize this." There are people who are seeing the latest iteration of linear programming, which is dead. But the end of cable news is here. And let me tell you also, Fox is dead. It is the last one to go. Fox is like the last drive-in, the last, drive-in theater, or the last car hop, where they come up on the roller skates or the, whatever it is. They're the last, whatever. That's a different story. It's the weirdest concept. And they're even picking, from what I've seen, somebody mentioned this to me, and I forced myself to watch. They're getting younger bookers or something. They're having the wrong people who are basically filling in, because there's one thing about Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes, he might have been a predator and a perv and all that kind of stuff too, but he was an absolute, oh my God, I got to change. I still have an old Lynn's Warriors thing up here. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Let me change my thing to Lionel Nation. By the way, you listen to Lynn's Warriors and Lionel Media on X. There we go. Let me fix this right here. But Roger Ailes was a genius. Roger Ailes was absolutely a programming genius. He was to news what Phil Spector was to music. He did it. He was a genius. I don't care whether you like his message or not. It doesn't matter. He understands what's important. He really does. He got it. And then, before that, Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh defined conservative, liberal. Conservative, liberal. I didn't even understand when I was growing up. I never heard that. I never heard during the 60s when we were cool and we liked this idea of, anti-war, and I never thought about this. I never thought about people saying the conservatives want war and the other ones don't want war. I say, what? What are you talking about? The conservatives, no. But Rush Limbaugh brought it, and he said, good guy, bad guy. Rush Limbaugh took professional wrestling, babyface and heel. Babyface and heel. Good guy, bad guy. It's precisely what it was. The conservatives were easy. The flag, God, the Bible, the family, the cross. It was very Christian. Don't believe that Judeo-Christian bullshit. It was Christian. It wasn't even Catholic even. It was Christian. It was Christian, and it wasn't necessarily white, but it seemed like a lot of people were white. But that wasn't the message. If you were black, no sweat. They had these folks. Remember the old days, Ken Hamlin, forget Soul and Walter Williams. Those were more the intellectuals. But in media, it was Ken Hamlin, J.C. was it Watts? Remember that? He was the congressperson, J.C. And the C stands for, see, he's black, see? Armstrong Williams. There were these, say, what are you? I'm a conservative black guy. It's forget before Larry Elder and all that. This was where it was going, because news took on an entertainment. It was entertainment. I remember the old days. Watch the time when ABC put on Gore Vidal. And Bill Buckley, that was one of the most important things ever. That was the most incredible thing ever. It was incredible. My God, it was amazing. I know nobody could even believe it because we are, our fun is news and politics and issues, and is Elon Musk doing the salute and all that. That's what we want. But this is critical, my friend. The end of cable news is here. It's here. And CNN is the poster child for the complete and total decline. It's done. It's finished. CNN was once hailed, listen to me, as the pioneer of the 24-hour news show. And the network now stumbles and shambles through layoffs, restructuring, that recent $5 million libel verdict, this antiquated model. They're trying to restructure this thing. It is a dog. This antiquated, antediluvian model is horrible. And fewer people care about it. They don't even recognize it. They don't even know what it is. You can get all the Caitlin, whatever the brow lady is, and all these folks. It doesn't matter. I swear to God, it doesn't matter. And it's the most incredible thing. Now, in an age when streaming platforms like this and stuff you watch on a phone and stuff that social media dominate the news consumption landscape. That's what this is. What you're seeing now. This is it. Not just me, but this is it. You don't want to go to this news. This weird, creepy 4 people on a couch, and let's have Harris Faulkner and Jake Tapper and the lady with the brows. And what is this? This is like, you can't make that cool. You can't. You can try some stuff. You could try it with Gut Bucket, but let me tell you something about him. And I've told you this, and nobody understands this. He's only good when he's being a prick. He's a snotty little prick. That's what he does. He's an asshole. That's his thing. And I say that with all due respect. He is this smart alecky. He's part of this new. I was watching something before. It was this really brutal. It was kind of funny, but I got bored immediately, on Stephen Miller. And there's a bunch of these people. They sit around these new comics. And their idea is the metaphor and the simile. Like they'll say, watching Stephen Miller is like going into the vegetable drawer and throwing out your old food, and it basically smells like a broccoli fart. And this, watching Fox News is like going to your grandmother and kissing her. It's like their point, their analogy or their metaphor, their simile. They are funny, but not the subject matter itself. And what Gutbucket's got to realize is you're going to have to prop up a president. You're not good at being propping people up. You're good at being a sniveling little prick, an asshole. That's, pardon my French, but that's what he does. He should have on his card, I'm an asshole. I'm a real jerk. That's what I'm doing. I'm Gutfuck. I get all these people on, and we have people laugh, and I sit back and I lean back because I'm so clever. But that's fine. That's fine. Bill Maher did to an extent. But you can't. What are you going to do with Trump? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? Good luck with this one. Good luck with this one. It's done. But going back to CNN, fewer and fewer people are watching this linear programming stuff. It's antediluvian. It's otiose. It's anachronistic. It's a waste of time. It's concretized. It's ossified. It's old. And CNN and its other linear cable peers, all these folks, have become relics. Desperately rearranging the proverbial deck chairs on a sinking ship. And what they've done now is they're laying off hundreds of employees, hundreds, as reported by insiders and others as well, underscoring how bleak things have gotten. Absolutely just horrible. And the move to shift production to cheaper locations like Atlanta and others, that's not an innovation. It's cost-cutting, masquerading as strategy. They don't know what they're doing. Remember Brian Stelter and CNN? Got rid of that. Remember this Chris Licht? Got rid of him. Zaslav says, I want to sell this thing. Its time has run. It's the drive-in theater. You might have liked it. It might have been something you look forward to, but it's over with. And this cost-cutting, again, is masquerading, pretending camouflage to some kind of strategy. Look, Warner Brothers Discovery may theoretically be pouring, $70 million into the digital operations, but no amount of money, no cash injection can possibly mask the reality of this fetid, suppurating, festering carbuncle of nothingness called CNN. Nothing. And you've got fewer viewers who are turning into linear TV and ad dollars. Did you see the other day? They said that how do I say this? They said that the President Trump's inauguration had fewer TV viewers than ever. TV. They actually said this. TV. Who's watching TV? That's like saying it has fewer radio. They don't get it. There's nothing worse than somebody who doesn't get it. It's like somebody trying to go into the strip or having go-go dancers. You know what I mean? It's like, look, this might have been great then, but nobody's watching this now. It's a different world. Now, the numbers tell the story. And by the way, Fox News continues to dominate the cable news race. But let me tell you something. Even its long-term trajectory is kind of shaky because younger audiences are rejecting cable in favor of on-demand and algorithm-driven news. And CNN, by the way, is trying to introduce some kind of $3.99 a month digital paywall, and they're hoping somehow to squeeze out some revenue. Nobody's going to want to watch that. Nobody's going to want it. It's a different world. NBC, MSDNC, and others of these legacy network types, they're following suit with their own layoffs, acknowledging the painful truth, the reality of what's going on. Linear programming is a zombie, shambling, moving, slogging about on borrowed time. It's over. I'm not even talking about the message. You can't jazz it up. And they still don't. Late night TV is done. Award shows, they don't understand it. They're talking about who's going to win that. Who cares? It's a different world. And by the way, these layoffs aren't just belt tightening. This is a tacit, absolute admission that the future is bleak. It's dead. The Washington Post, AP, they're also cutting staff. And what are people like this, Rubin and Norm Isaac? They're trying to do their own. And that Andy Borowitz, who's as funny as stillbirth. Okay? The shift, the reality is undeniable. News people, news consumers, people like you and me, people who are younger audiences to an extent. By the way, there's young, but there's too young. You want to get 25, 54. You want to get the people who buy cars and Teslas. The people who are liquid enough, not kids, but you want to get this kind of a very kind of the sweet spot demographic. They want flexibility. They want personalization. They want immediacy. They want stuff that cable news cannot deliver anyway. And platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Substack, have created this brand new, thriving, and here's this word I hate, this ecosystem. I hate this, but it's the ecosystem. They've created an ecosystem that is, it's true. How many of you watch or have Substack or have one that you like or follow? I do. I don't watch any of this stuff. I mean, if I'm going to find out what's going on, it's always online, and it's not, it might be Fox News to an extent, maybe Daily Mail, which is terrific. It's just fun. But I go to Alex, I go to others, I go to Zero Hedge, I go to some stuff that might be global research. I go to some stuff that, and many people have also done Rumble and BipShoot or PoopShoot or whatever the hell they want to do. They want a variety. They're used to all of this, and they want to find depending upon who they are, they want to find the particular, they want what's cool. All right. And it ain't cool to watch CNN. And by the way, CNN's trying so much to stay relevant by cautioning its anchors to be more fair-minded. Remember that? They had this, who was this fellow from Sir, what's his face? Basically said, we want you to watch your voice. All right, Acosta, the same goes for you. You be very, very careful with this. We want you to be careful. I want you to watch what you're saying. Watch what you're saying. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Let me show you. Let me give you an example of something. This is what CNN is known for.
Covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim.
That's exactly right. One more time.
Just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth. It's an alarming choice for a man who has often struggled to unequivocally denounce white supremacists. You recall these moments.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Those words have power. They have meaning. And when Donald Trump speaks, the world listens. Neo-Nazis and white supremacists certainly listen. So why can't he denounce them? Why can't he reject their support?
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
What's your response to Donald Trump saying she should be fired, that Liz Cheney should be fired upon? He keeps speaking in these very extreme terms about the potential dangers to the country if he doesn't win in November. He's used words like bloodbath.
Now, let me show you a couple of things, too, which is important. And let's talk about some other things, too. First and foremost, let me give you a little bit of advice, okay? If you have President Trump on your TV show, let him speak. If you interview President Trump, let him speak. Who, what, when, where, why? How did you feel? What are you going to accomplish? What do you want us to know? And whatever he says, you follow up with, interesting. Well, what do you mean? Please explain. How did that make you feel? And what's the message? Boom, 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 boom. Expanding upon him. He's the star. You don't do this for everybody. Sometimes you got to guess who's so horrible it's not even funny. They're terrible. But he's the guest. He's President Trump. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to add anything to this. He's the guy. Okay. Now, with all due respect, is this the one of the worst? The worst. And why the president does this, I have no idea. Is this guy.
You were facing a civil trial.
Now listen to this. Let me stop right there. I have nothing to say, no ill will against Hannity. I've known him for a long time. He's very talented, very successful. The luckiest man, anybody who follows Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly, that notwithstanding, he always wants to tell you how much he knows, how he has a summary. He has a rolling adumbration of what's going on. He knows what's going on. I'm aware of what's going on. I know. Bleach bit. He would go through this litany when he talked about it. We have to go to this bleach bit. I said, would you stop with the bleach bit? Ask the guest the question. One time, before we do this, I'll never forget, he had on Michael Baden, the preeminent forensic pathologist ever, who is basically telling you that the man whose last name begins with E was actually the victim of a homicide, as he says, and here's why. And he mentioned hyoid bone fracture and thyroid cartilage and petechial hemorrhaging and lividity and algal motors and liver motors. Blah, 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 blah. This was a chance. But Sean, apparently at that time, was going through martial arts, UFC, I don't know what it was. And he wanted to talk about the rear naked choke. I'll never forget this. I said, what are you doing? Well, as you know, the rear naked choke. What? The rear naked choke. The rear naked choke. What? What? The rear naked choke. I don't know what you're talking about. Because he had to tell you what he was doing. He had to tell you what he was doing. So again, this is the question. Wait how long it takes for him to get to the... And he's telling President Trump what he went through. He's actually reminding President Trump and all of us what he went through. Oops, hang on a minute. Sorry about that.
Conviction.
Let me try this again. Sorry.
You were facing a civil trial, a criminal trial, conviction, sentencing.
Yes.
Jack Smith, D.C., Florida, Fonnie Willis. I mean, you fought through all of that to get back right here in this office. What people don't know is over there's a little red button you push. You scare people. People think it's the nuclear button, but it's really,
something else.
It's used for a different purpose. But the question I have was, at any point, did you doubt you would be back here?
So it's a great question. It's something I don't think about. I never really thought about it. I don't think about, gee, will I be back? I just do.
Is that the stupidest question? Did you ever doubt? Sure. They tried to kill me, schmuck. They're going to steal the election like they did in 2020. You goddamn right. I questioned whether I'd be here. What a stupid question is that? Dear God, what is the point of that? I don't understand it. Somebody help me with this. I don't get it.
Do it. I get it done. I get things done. I'm good at getting things done, and I set my mind to it.
See, that's a waste of time. Already we're wasting our time. Oh, look at this beaut. Look at this. Trump's trying to get in a word edgewise with this one.
To give pardons to everybody but him. They wanted to take care of... Yeah, but sure. They wanted to... I don't care.
They're yelling at me.
This is more important because right now the economy is going to do great.
See, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Now, that's okay. That's okay. This is the thing which is the most important. And by the way, Sean is not interrupting. Interrupting means Trump starts and then he jumps in. That's to interrupt. He talks. He doesn't interrupt. It's his show. Did you ever see Larry King? Larry King is the best. Was the best. Larry King, if he had Jesus Christ on, Sean would say, Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, born to a carpenter and a virgin, and the Bethlehem and Nazareth, angel Gabriel, Jesus. We know who Jesus Christ is. We know who Trump is. You're watching this. For the love of God, sit there and you know what you do? Every time you say, what is the thing you want to make sure you get up? Tell me. What is the thing? What is the question nobody asks you beforehand? What is the thing you want to make sure? Don't let me start. Let's get down to brass tacks. I want to get the most out of you. And he's not going to do anything to catch Trump in anything. What do you want me to talk about? What would you like me to do? Here is what I would do. This is my opinion. Mr. President, you can ask, what are we going to do? I don't want to talk about preemptive pardons anymore. It's over. It's over. Let's stop this. We know. Yeah. Jim Biden, yeah, we know. What are we going to do now? Is there any chance of you reversing birthright? Where you are, was it jus solus or whatever, where you land as soon as you're born here, boom. Now, in my, I hate to use this term, newsletter, But there's a part here which is a very interesting aspect, a very interesting case, a very interesting version of how this is going to be done. And it can be done, but it will require an assistance of and help from the Congress, because it's this subject to the laws provision. Maybe you want to talk about that. Maybe you want to talk about, and here's a real big problem. There's going to be a rift. Did you see Larry Ellison? They're talking about Moderna. They're talking about more cancer vaccines. Does he have any idea? By the way, excuse me, it's not Mockingbird Media. No, it's not, Max. It's not Mockingbird Media. No, it's not Mockingbird Media. You're referring to Operation Mockingbird, the Phil Graham thing. No, it's not. No. Legacy, linear, that is the correct word. Don't try to show us off with how I know this word Mockingbird. You probably don't know why I knew that. It's Operation Mockingbird. That's why. Not to kill a mockingbird. Legacy is stupid. It's what everybody refers to it as. See, there's always somebody who always says, I know more about it. It's DARPA. Listen to what we're saying here. Don't get ahead of your skis. Pay attention to what's happening. And listen. See, that's the problem with some of us. We're not listening. We're not listening. What are you going to do if all of a sudden Larry Ellison says, hey, I got this new cancer vaccine? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Does Trump have any idea what we've just been through? Does he have any idea of what he's been through? Does he, if you mention those, you're talking about mRNA? Oh my, does he, this is where I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold it. You haven't, this is day 3 and you're talking about vaccine. What are you doing? Do you understand what you're doing? People are saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Who's the tone deaf? And listen to what, there's also this fight about AI and Elon. See, this is where I get to the point. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this one. I don't know. This was no. Why are you? And he's announcing Larry Ellison $500 million. Wait a minute. Wait, what? What? And we're going to build more prisons. And we're going to have a private prison. Wait a minute. What? Not that he's doing that, but that would have been another thing. See, this is the part where we've got to tell the president, no, not now. You understand what's going on? Who's doing your polling? Does he do polling? No. Bill Clinton wouldn't sneeze without a poll. Bill Clinton wouldn't sneeze without a poll. Nothing. I don't want to be Mr. Remember what I told you. I said the thing that is the most dangerous aspect to humanity is AI and AGI. Remember me saying this? I could tell today, I'm doing my iPad thing and they have these little rotations. Somebody says, oh, here's Fox News. I go, oh, I don't want that. But I said, let me see what they're doing. They're doing the kind of the couch thing. And you got this poor Lawrence and you got this quartet. Seriously, this is back burner, low wattage. This is not the Mensa Brigade. Okay, I don't know how to explain this to you. But what he has to understand, and we have to understand, is this thing called AI will be and could be the end of civilization as we know it. And if you think, do you know what will, forget jobs, when you talk about tariffs, when you talk about a lot of things, does he really grasp AI? Does he really? Do you think people do? No, they do not. They do not. They do not grasp it. And it's bigger than anything you have got to understand. What you're seeing right now, that little moment, that little piece, that two-shot thing where he's talking, I learned nothing. What are you going to do? What are the plans? What am I going to do? There are, who was it? Krasner from Philly is talking about, remember I told you this the other day about perhaps maybe going after and prosecuting Biden and others through state laws. Remember that one? This is very critical. This is very, very, very critical news. And that's what he's talking about. He's talking about going after the J6 people. So what are we doing with that one? Where are we going? We're not done with it. Do not let the Bidens off the hook. Do not tell me. Make sure. I know you just started. It's been 2 days, 3 days. Make sure that somewhere in the Department of Justice, through Pam Bondi or others, the IRS or somebody, that they're going after those people. And they're saying, you know what? We've noticed we have state laws. We have state laws. You are not to say that Jim Biden is not ever able to be charged, his brother, with a crime in the future. It's past. Okay, let's have a new case now. Let's show that in current tax filings or current status, through novation, that the conspiracy to commit a variety of crimes in the past has still been reinvigorated through a process called novation, where you're basically breathing life into an otherwise conspiracy that nobody cared about. Brad Oppler said, AI has saved me hundreds of hours in legal costs. It's assisted, not artificial intelligence, 95% there, but editing is still key. Well, of course it is. It's wonderful. There's no doubt about that. We're not talking about that, though. Pilgrim Media says, the bands I photograph use the work on stage. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Raul says, I would let Trump talk as long as he wants. Yes, I would as well, Raul, but you have to ask him questions and or let him talk and not show everybody how much you know. Now, let me go through this. Remember, people do not want to talk about AI. They don't want to talk about it. They don't get it. It's like crypto. They don't really understand it. They kind of know. They know Bitcoin, but they don't really say, well, what is it? Where is it from? How is it? How does a Bitcoin and the blockchain and whatever, and what is it? Where is it? Where is it from? Where does it come from? Where is it? Is it a gold standard? Is it fiat currency? Nobody understands. You don't have to. They just know there's something there, and it's kind of interesting, and that's what AI is like. Oh yeah, that's, I don't know. AI is going to be a human being. AI is going to be artificial general intelligence. You're going to have a soul, a person with a soul, and a person who is subject to their own set of morality and the like. A person, imagine an 800-pound gorilla with a 300 IQ that is able to immediately replicate itself. And the first thing an AGI system is going to do in terms of super intelligence is to be able to turn off your ability to stop it. Here's one question. Can you stop AI? Let's say there becomes a psychopathic, pathological version of AI. Instead of wanting to cure cancer, it wants to spread cancer. Or it wants to pull a Luigi Mangione, whom we don't talk about anymore. And by the way, there are more, how do I say this? There are more fires going on in LA as we speak. Did you see that? Are you aware of that? Anybody talking about that? No. Do you know what that's about? People say, no. Why? Because people are watching Fox News. People are watching Fox News. If you want to read Substack, you can get into it like you can't believe. You want to watch Alex Jones? You want to watch Greg Reed? You would just go down the list. This is it's a whole other world. This level is so surface. It's like I'm not learning anything about it. I'm not getting it. This nonsense about the Nazi salute and Elon Musk, what is that about? This is ridiculous. It's a waste of time. It's completely a waste of time. But I want you to understand something. The end of cable is here. And CNN is the poster child. MSDNC has already been cut. NBC already says, see ya, have a good day, goodbye. They may not even, think about this, rumor has it, they may not even enjoy status of being a part of NBC. They may not be at 30 Rock anymore. They may be in Secaucus or wherever the hell they want to go. Rachel Maddow's trying her best to whatever it is, because this thing has gone. I don't know if they think this personality. It's over with. This was 20 years ago. Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. She doesn't add anything. It doesn't. Believe it or not, The View is today. Listen to what I'm saying. The View is a substitution for radical left news. The View. You can laugh all you want at The View. The View is what they want. They want opinion. They want attitude. They want ballsiness. They don't want anything to do with fact. The View. The View is it. The View. I know people are going crazy. They're not listening. 24-hour news, linear news, dead. Layoffs, CNN. Restructuring, desperate, clinging on. That frown lady, that mean, nasty. Jim Acosta. Scott Jennings is the only person. And what's happening is, it is not necessarily just that people are more conservative. It's they don't like it anymore. Cut Up says, habit of pardoned criminals will decide final outcome. They most likely will continue hoping no one catches them. Arrogance is strong with this group. Could very well be, yes. Pardoning, by the way, is something in an old newsletter. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't pardon. This pardoning, this is not what was in any way. This was not in any way planned or thought of or arranged by the founders of the Constitution. It was the idea of trying to deal with hang on. It was not the idea for you to say, let me just throw somebody a bone. No. Remember, I think the first example was Washington in the Whiskey Rebellion, trying to say, listen, we have to put this behind us. We have to put this behind us. We have to do everything in our power to put this behind us. Do you understand? Do you grasp this? It's behind us. The same thing with after World War. It's the Civil War. But the argument now that people have is that we live in a world where there are people who are able to enjoy post-conviction relief, appellate courts, constitutional, we have a Bill of Rights, all of these things which are better able to handle this particular story. And that's the bottom line. And what they don't understand is that it's, but let me just say this again about Biden, about pardons. Let me give you this much. When you talk to a friend of yours about pardons, you guys ask him this. Let's say that that Trump, who's president, has his buddy Dana White. Let's assume, just for the sake of argument, assume arguendo as opposed to innuendo, which is an Italian suppository, but assume that there is some controversy involving UFC or Dana White or whatever it is. Okay. Let's further assume that Trump, on his way out, pardons not only Dana White, but everybody in UFC, all of the fighters, the administrative offices, the concessionaires, the vendors, the investors, the entire UFC. He pardons all of them. Then he's very concerned about, let's say, an issue involving, let's say something going on with, maybe somebody wants to bring up some type of antitrust. I know this isn't criminal, but he pardons the NFL. The entire NFL, just pardons them all. Preemptively. Not even sure exactly what for. Not even sure what for. Just pardons them. Pardons them all. And people would say, wait a minute, what are you doing? What did they do? I don't know. Well, what are you doing? Well, in case they need it. I don't know. But have they been accused of anything? No. So you're giving them, I'm giving them kind of a get out of jail free card, just in case they did it. The left would go berserk. And not only that, did you see the murderers and these, oh my God. So that's the part that we have to get across. And something's got to be done with it. The Supreme Court or somebody they've really got to get a handle on that. That's one of the issues right now. Believe it or not, I'm telling you again, the biggest story is what's happening in California. I know nobody cares about this because they think it's a fire. And some people think, like, well, it's a fire and whatever, and there's a fire. No. One of the things which is they told you, they said specifically ahead of time, Eric Garcetti and others, they say, we want to have these new 15-minute cities right here in this area for the Olympics and for the World Cup, right there. Brad Rung says, rumor in Pennsylvania that Krasner is going to try to charge any J6 that live in Pennsylvania or reside there. I don't know how he can do this, but it will be like he did it to Elon. Yep, that's what I said before. Larry Krasner, yep, he's doing that. And that's why the individual attorneys general around the states have to go after Biden and those rat bastards individually via state. Remember, a federal pardon does nothing to prevent a state prosecution. So going back to what I said, and thank you for that. The leftists said, we want this to be there. And they said, but you can't do this. This is Brentwood. This is Malibu. This is Beverly Hills. We'll see. Well, this is Pasadena. This is, we'll see. What do you mean we'll see? We'll see. Yeah, but you just passed. These people who live there are not going to give up their homes. We'll see. What do you mean we'll see? Lo and behold, all of a sudden, there are fires. Fires that they've never imagined. Immediately, 3. Bands of arsonists. Bands. Roaming hordes of criminals and burglars. And remember, you burglarize a house and you rob a person. You can't rob a house. You burglarize. And all those people there. They had a woman today who had an Emmy and she's going in. And they're going into these homes and they're emptying it. And everybody's got, artwork, or they've got a safe, or they've got something. Listen, can I give you a little bit of advice? And this is the most important. If you insist upon having a safe or any kind of a place to hide either guns or gold or whatever it is that you have, make sure you can't remove the safe. Just a little bit of advice. Don't have a strong box. I don't know what that strong box is for. There's something. Make sure you can't leave it. Make sure if somebody goes into your home after there's a fire and they've got this vault, they can't move it because it's bolted down or whatever it is. Just a word of advice. They are proceeding as is. So that's that. The other news, which I covered, which is the most fantastic. You know why? Because we are all gray gut buckets. We're sniveling pricks. We're assholes. We're like, we are. You know it. You love Joy Behar. It's fun. I'll be the first to admit it. They give us its schadenfreude, its justice. Michelle Obama, who right now, I don't want to talk about women's looks, but so I think that eliminates her. That was terrible. Did I say that? I did say that. She's looking so bad right now, and they are so off, it's not even funny. And that's what we talked about. She probably says, I have had it with this and you and pretending I'm through. You know how sometimes you get to be 60 or whatever, some years old, and you say, you know what, I've just had enough of this crap. Okay? I've had enough of this. You got it? Okay. The next thing we have is the latest with Kamala and Doug. This is the best. She's now blaming, rumors have it, him for her loss. She can't get it through her thick head. You suck. You're an idiot. They're blaming Doug because Doug knocked up the nanny. Doug knocked the hell out of this woman, slapped her around, spun her head around. Doug's got that freak daughter with the hairy armpits. It was so weird the other day. There was the entire family, even the kid Kai is in an evening gown and this and that. And then you got the Doug family. They look like they're from a freak show, like some kind of a carnival or what is that? Not the Cunninghams. What's that inbred family? It's the strangest thing you've ever seen. And I'm going to ask you, honey, have you ever seen, this is terrible. Have you ever seen Kamala in a dress? I'm just curious. Hillary, maybe that's too. I guess that's okay. It doesn't really, somebody pointed that out the other day. I said, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it really before, but I guess it's okay. Marlene Dietrich did it, you know. Anyway, but she right now, as she's figuring, she's blaming everybody but her. She's blaming Biden. She's blaming Doug. And Doug apparently, they'd say, is maybe moving back to New York. He's some big law firm. Who would want him as your lawyer? You're some big entertainment case, and you got this guy. After what he's been through, this guy, and now the wife guy. This is the delusional world. So you've got Kamala, you got Barry and Michelle. You got this whole thing falling apart. And they don't really know what to do. And they're fighting back. And already, Krasner, whatever, in Philly, wants to prosecute what? Sedition for something that occurred in D.C. This is going to be good. But they don't give up. And I said this the other day, and I want you to understand it. We have got to get vicious. We've got to have them say, make it stop. Hannity is still talking about, well, you won. No, what are you going to do? Forget, yes, we know you won. What are you going to do? Start scaring people. Start telling people, this is what we're going to do. Tom Homan's got there. I want to see people arrested. I don't want to hear about Elon's salute. You see how already we're like talking about stuff that doesn't really matter? I want to talk about how many people have we arrested? What has happened since the actual inauguration? What have we learned? What have we learned? What has been done? I want there to be a complete and total revision of everything. I want him to show me how this country has absolutely, positively come back bigger and stronger and badder than ever. That's what I want to hear. I don't care anything about whatever before. Get through this. And they're going to tell you things like, well, you know, Bobby Kennedy's got a little problem. Well, I got this. Make sure you kind of take a glance at what the left is saying in their pathetic press, just to kind of get an idea of where we're going. Doesn't matter, though. Nobody's paying attention to that. Can I say something else to you? Nobody's watching. Nobody cares about the Drudge Report. If people aren't watching CNN, who's watching the Drudge Report? And what does the Drudge Report reference? Linear cable news and the usual suspect. Doesn't matter. It may seem like, because you've got to pull yourself out. There's already talk about whether they're leaking. I think they're going to snub Taylor Swift for the Grammys. I don't know what the hell it is. Those are over with. The award shows, late night. Remember, late night's going to be next. Kimmel, Fallon, and there's that Seth Meyers. Have you ever watched Seth Meyers? That Corden, remember James Corden? He was kind of a hit. That's over with. It's done. It's done. Now, they might. The only thing going for them is that now they're back in the saddle where they can make fun of Trump again. I want to go back again. What is Gut Bucket going to do when he's going to do what? He's going to slam The View? Is that it? Where is the source of your comedy? Your comedy is to attack the other side. Where are you going? You've won. Republicans have to stop reacting, need to start acting. They have to say, forget whatever it is. But let me remember what I told you. The View is probably the number one source, believe it or not, because everything they say is so over the top. You got to hand it to them. It's like watching old NWA wrestling. They're the heels, and they're absolutely the best because they say stuff. Because you've got people who are basically, you've got Joy Behar, who is mentally retarded. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, and always has been, and she knows it. She doesn't care. Whoopi, nobody knows. Whoopi, she's whatever she is, and the rest of these people who come, I don't know who they are. I have no idea. So that's where we are right now. So keep in mind, good news for us. But President Trump, if you are watching, I want nothing but action. I want everybody to say he's doing this, he's signing this, these people got arrested, these people have to come back to work, this one of this, DEI, they took the flag down. Keep talking about what you are doing. Don't talk about anything that happened in the past. We don't care about the pardons. The pardons are over. Let it go. It doesn't matter. Boring. Boring. What are you going to do? So many people from D.C., they're not there. Why? You got a president who never worked. He was, 4 o'clock, if he ever showed up? The people who worked for the press office, they had it made. Now they're so busy now because Trump's doing all this stuff. He's always there. He's signing this. In the old days, you went in, Karine Jean-Pierre, maybe have one day, take some phone calls, have a bite to eat. Nothing's going on. You're a White House press corps, and there's nobody there. Let me say that again. You're in the White House press corps, and there's nobody in the White House. President's not there. Nobody's there. You've got the chickie with the bad wig, and that's it. Maybe Peter Ducey, they go back and forth. Now they're working their ass off. He's doing nothing, but he's constantly there, churning this stuff out. He won't stop. And that's what he has to do. Every day, this running tally. Boom, 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 boom. And let me go back to what I said before. There were people who've not been in Washington. Let me say this again. They've not been in Washington in I don't know how long. They've not been in Washington. They were remote working, but in Ohio or nobody cared. So there's nobody there. It's the most incredible thing in the world. And this is one thing, but the most important, listen to me carefully now. They're going to, do you ever see in Portland, Andy No is terrific about Antifa. And what was it, honey, Portland? Antifa is here. Pamela Joe, doing a great job. Make sure you're saying, I'll be with you in a minute. Get the grand juries ready to go, and let's go after Antifa. I want Antifa indicted on racketeering, criminal enterprises, domestic terror, whatever you want to call them. Antifa, get them. BLM, go back. IRS, audits, go back to this colors. Where's that money? Who are these people? And what criminal complicity did they have or play or role in these various riots? Be brutal. Keep going. Keep going. And then, and one more thing, and I'll leave you with this, Mr. President. I know your people you're having this thing about Ukraine. You better do something to get rid of NATO. Detach from NATO. NATO is a military industrial complex, war profiteering center. Remember, no Russia, no NATO. They are in this, perpetuating this fiction that Vladimir Putin somehow wants to reconstitute the Soviet Union. It's the most ridiculous thing because you make money. Victoria Nuland, ban her, strip her of all security clearance. Jack Keane, that general from Fox, everybody loves. He's from the Institute for the Study of War, whatever it was. This is the Kagans and the Newlands. Get rid of these people. They're all NATO ghouls. They're trying to draw us into it. They have a hard-on for Russia. That's their problem. So the next time you want to deal with Mr. Putin, Mr. President, make sure you ask yourself, why is he even doing this? Did he one day wake up, get a hair up his ass and say, I'm going to go after Ukraine today? No. He wanted to work with Zelensky until Boris Johnson, at the behest of NATO, said, no, you're not. So let's make sure we call it the way it is. Okay? And I know all this Russophobic stuff is great. People who still love the days of Natasha and Boris and all this other stuff. But understand what's happening here. Laura says, do executive orders regarding telework extend to the judicial branch? You know what? That's a very good question. I would say probably no. Because that's the third branch. And if they, I don't think people are working remotely at the Supreme Court, but it's a very good question. I think the same would apply to the legislative, Article 1. I don't know. That's a great question. I'm going to research that. Well, that's an excellent question. All right, dear friends, thank you. Don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warrior. So Laura, Brad Rung, Cut Up Chatter, Raul Pilgrim, and Mr. Opland, thank you. Don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Number 2, make sure you are subscribed here to Lionel Nation. People get unsubscribed. And number 3, ask for the newsletter or news or information or periodical or email, whatever it's called. Make sure you sign up. If for some reason you are unsubscribed, either because it's done in error or you decide, like a lot of people, unsubscribe. And then later on, you have to do it. I can't do it. I cannot resubscribe for you. You have to do it. All right, my friends? Okay. Have a great and a glorious day. There's a brand new video as we speak, brand new right now on CNN being dead. There it is. Follow it, watch it, send it to everybody, because if CNN dies, if cable news dies, legacy, not Mockingbird, legacy, heritage, sock puppet, linear cable news, we as a society benefit because it's dead. Amputate that gangrenous appendage. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. See you later. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.